it's not a nice time of the year for any manager to tell you that. You're talking about careers and livelihoods, and I've always based myself on being as honest as I can, trying to do it the right way, speak to them face to face, give them some feedback, etc. And it goes without saying, as a football club, we'll have anyone who's represented us in their future career. So we've done that conversation when we knew the league was going to be null and void. We could leave it until roughly around now or the end of the contract or whatever, but we thought it was better to do it as soon as possible, to give them an opportunity to potentially maybe go up a level on loan if need be, go in training with anyone. A lot of the clubs, including ourselves, are still training, to try and get a head start on a lot of the other players coming out of other clubs. So we've done that, as I say, as best we could, as honest as we could, and that's what we've any football club's the same. Some people leave, some people come in, some people renegotiate. As part of the process, but we've come up with a nucleus of the squad that we want to keep and build to, and obviously, unfortunately, some players will leave the club, and we wish them all the best for the future in their career. So Max, coming pre-season last year, trained with us, Max Johnson, and we liked him. We took him on a contract. Little bit unfortunate because before Chris Neal had done really well, so it stopped his. Well, not stopped. You won competition in all positions, but Chris is ahead of Max at this stage in both their careers. And I know it's a difficult position, goalkeepers, because you can only play one of them, and ultimately, if that one's doing that well, then the other one, finds himself on the bench or not even on the bench at times, and you weigh things up whether it's worth them going out on loan. All that type of stuff. So with Max, it was a little bit more difficult because he got an injury that kept him out for a few months. He's one of the players that's still in with us at the moment training. We've got a duty of care to him to get him fit for ready for when he goes into another club. So he's actually in training with us at the minute, and he's doing well coming back from his injury. So again, do we go into next season exactly the same position? Potentially Max missing another season. In my opinion, and speaking to Max as well, at his age, at this stage in his career, he needs to now go and find a club where he's going to play regular Saturday, Tuesday, start getting those appearances under his belt and fulfil the potential that he's got. Will he do that here? At this present moment, we think Chris is ahead of him, so it's a little bit difficult, but we made the decision in the end to release him, and hopefully he goes on and has a good career. So again, like I said before, we wish all the players all the best, and Max goes with that. From us all here at Fylde. So he was the one of the first ones we spoke to. We've spoken to young James Stanley, one of the youth team players who come through. Again, hard for the young players this year because you take them in, you get them training full time with the first team in that environment, and hopefully that they can go out and get that experience of playing, on a Saturday afternoon at 3:00. But with the COVID coming, the leagues below being called off before ours was, it was very hard to get them the match time that they need. So James Stanley, we thought potentially a good player. We've had a look at him in the environment around the first team. Again, we feel that he'd be better now going and developing on someone else's pitch, potentially a level or two below us. And again, hopefully he comes back and bites us on the backside. That's what we always say that to all the players, because we've worked with them. If they're good people, we always want them to do well. You're never going to be able to keep hold of everyone. There's going to be players that sometimes go away and they do well. That happens at any level in any country. And James got that potential, so hopefully he can do that. A big one for us and the hardest one for me, him being my captain, was Nathan Pond. Goes without saying, Pondy's a fantastic pro. He's had a fantastic career. Big player for us when we brought him in. He was our captain. Can't speak highly enough of him as a pro, as a person. When he did play, he did well. But again, as a staff, me making the final decision, you've got to take everything into consideration. Where they sit on a wage structure, where they sit in their career, what we feel we need to move forward. And we've made the decision that we're going to go a different way to Pondy. So again, he's had a little bit of a foot injury at the minute, which we're getting him back, He's been away with his national side, involved with them in the time that the league's been called off. So he has played football. So again, wish him all the best. It's nice to see him around the place at the moment. Again, thorough professional, great with the other players, great with the staff. But as I say, we're just going to go down a different route with regards to that position. So Jordan Lucy in midfield. Again, at the stage in his career, we feel at this moment, with the former Dave Perkins, with the former Danny Philliskirk, we've got Liam Nolan there as well. Is he going to be a bit part player again? Likelihood is it would be. So, like any player in the club that leaves, you're always trying to get better in. And with Jordan's situation at the moment, we don't feel he's going to affect our first team first and foremost as much as we would like. So again, good conversation, honest and open. We'll do right by him. I've spoken to a couple of managers already about him. He's at that age now where he's had a little bit of football. He hasn't really cemented a position over the last few years for whatever reason, but he needs to go and put 35, 40, 45 games under his belt next season when we get back to normal, and teams will need players like Jordan Lucy. So Junior Mondal was another player, one I was really excited about when he come in pre-season. Tried to sign him last season from Forest Green. Again, a little bit difficult with Junior because we've seen some really good signs. He come back into the side and scored a couple of goals. He was towards the end when it looked like the season was going to be called off. He probably had his best spell. He suddenly had someone living with him. You got to understand it's not just what happens on the pitch, but unfortunately he's moved into the area just as the COVID kicks in. Next thing, he can't go out of his house. He's living on his own away from home. He can't go and socialise with anyone. It's very, very difficult for someone of his age, certainly at his age, to come and make sure that it all just runs smoothly. So I definitely think that hampered him. Good kid, worked hard, got undoubted ability and potential. But again, because he was a bit part player last year, do we feel that he's going to kick on this season and affect the first team? Do we feel that we could potentially get someone else in that will suit us better? Maybe certainly on the field, but off the field as well. With the living situation, etc. So we made that decision on Junior as well. But we think he's better, moving away and picking his career up elsewhere. Kurt Willoughby is another good lad who's trained well, gone about his business really well. Come before I was at the club. Good goal scoring record. When I come to the club, he'd had a hernia operation. When he's come back, he's been a bit of a pit part player again. People might look at it and go, he hasn't had the fair crack of the whip, he hasn't had the run of games. But when we were looking at the team last season, we feel that if you're trying to improve year on year, I don't want to hold Kurt back, who's been here for 2 seasons now, never really been a regular, certainly under me he hasn't, and he's had the hernia operation in my first season. I just feel it'd be wrong of us just to keep him sake to sit on the bench. Kurt, I can see it in training. He's desperate to play. He pushes himself every day. He believes in himself. But again, I think it'd be wrong of us to say, no, we're going to keep hold of you because we feel that you'll be a good backup or a good squad player. So he needs to be the main man. He needs to go and play somewhere. And the last one is Sheldon Green. Sheldon, again, young lad who's come through the ranks, local boy. He's had a taste of first team football. Wasn't ready when I come in. I was really impressed with him, with his attitude and the way he went about training. Fantastic move, long move to Bamber Bridge, done really well there. Come back, could see a difference in him. Getting closer to our first team, but obviously COVID kicked in this season. No loan move. There was one lined up. Then he got injured, which kept him off for a few months with a hamstring. Couldn't get the loan move. So again, it's a couple of years down the line. He's desperate to now become a main striker at a club. And we don't feel that's going to be here. So you've got to make that decision. And plus the fact, whilst we've been having a conversation, Sheldon's been given a fantastic opportunity to move over to America and play some football over there, which, again, when he asked me about my advice, if I was in his shoes at his age, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to go and sample football in different countries, certainly a country like the USA. So again, goes with our best wishes. We wish him well, and we'll certainly monitor him over the coming months to see how he's getting on over there, because their league's a different time to ours. So, say all difficult conversations, as long as you're honest and open, you give them the truth and you do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but we feel in this particular time we've got the timing right. We give them all an opportunity. We give them the opportunity to carry on training with us. Certainly in Max's situation, Pondy's situation, to get them right back up to where they need to be.